needs fabric. We still have time.
Oh hey, Envoy. Be sure to check out our new bereavement sale. Discounts on qualifying items.
What? Can't you see I'm busy? God, yes, I know that. She's been hounding me about it for a week now. I've had my hands full with other shipments. Cinzia is not the only client I have to answer to. Are you threatening me? Gods, Thirdborn really has gone to shit. Fine, fine. Tell Cinzia I'll have a shipment over to her by sundown. Gods preserve me.
Who builds a dock on a cliffside? Daft fools.
Ah, the godlike hero. You're back. Getting thirsty yet? You did. Fantastic. If only everyone in Thirdborn were as helpful as you. Here, for your troubles. I'll give you the best deal in the city, too. Need anything else?
I've charted out a route that should get us there in time, Andre.
Yes,
We'll sail around
and
Corsair.
they stole my research on the Guardians. Have to get it back.
Let it go, Yatsley. They'll kill you.
They can certainly try.
There are games year-round. And with the way they've been growing, they'll give us a tailwind all the way to Paradise. You're the one who wanted us to arrive double time. If you'd rather take the traditional route, I can start over.
No, that's fine, Captain. You're the expert here.
Good. We'll want to leave with the first tide tomorrow at dawn. I'll see you at the docks.
Oh, gods. And Adiran, what is it this time?
Don't worry, darling. The official Adiran envoy is here at my request.
Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. We're in desperate need of another scholar.
Darling, always a pleasure to see you. And you even brought a Pargroon friend. See the red highlights in his mustache? It's a dead giveaway.
Not now, Yatsley. I want answers. Why have you come to Thirdborn? After what your people did in Emerald Stair, I can't imagine you carry an edict of friendship with you. No, Adir just supports her. In arms, politics, and kith.
I know you're upset, Timothy, but don't take it out on us. I'm furious too, darling. That monster stole my research, and who knows what she plans for it. But you know, if this Adiran was untrustworthy, I'd kill her myself.
I apologize, Envoy. Eagle's Reach is a slaughterhouse. Dreamthrall siege our gates day and night. People are hungry, and I have not slept in days. So my temper is a powder keg, I'm afraid. I am trying not to explode. This isn't a courtesy visit, is it? I assume you're here delivering a message on behalf of Adir. To Head Sharpshooter, First Class of Shatterscarp, Tamerti Kaiwa III. Ludwin wants the ruins of Naku Kubel, or will suffer the Steel Garot's wrath. Another shit atop the pile, then. Not that I can do a damn thing about it.
You're not going to give in, are you? Those ruins are a marvel. They're irreplaceable.
I know, Yatsley. If we give them an inch, the Adirans won't stop until they have everything. But even if I wanted to hand over the ruins, they aren't in my power to surrender. Trust me, I am very aware of all those things. You might even say I've been fighting for those things. But there's one little problem. The Archmage Ringrim has warped the very reality of Shatterscarp. Let's just say there's a magical barrier around the ruins now. No one's getting in or out without Ringgrim's say-so.
Ringrim? As in from the Circle of Archmagi? She's here?
The very one. I feared you'd be excited. Her presence isn't a good thing, Yatsley. She flew into the Shark's Teeth a few weeks ago, and now that area is an impenetrable wasteland of ice. I heard there's an Adiran who had his mind utterly broken by her. He's still lost out there as far as I know.
Maybe even an entrance to the garden. We absolutely have to go inside and see for ourselves. The Circle of Archmagi don't get involved unless there's something they can gain. They're not really known for their altruism. Look at the Siege of Cragholt. And that was just so that Lengrath could try and show up Consulhot.
The truth is, I'm up to my neck in catastrophes. Between the horde of dream thralls pounding on our gates and trying to keep peace with Adir, I've had to station guards on our borders to control who goes in and out, just to keep everyone safe. I never thought I'd say this, but the Archmage is the least of my concerns. So, Ludwine wants the ruins, but even if I wanted to give them over, Ringrim controls them. And good luck getting an audience with an Archmage. I didn't know they made adherents with such bravery. You never know what marvels you live to see. You're likely gonna die a very horrible death, but I pray Galawain will at least make it fast.
She clearly doesn't want to be found, but that just makes you want to look for her more, doesn't it?
When an Archmage like Ringgrim decides they don't want to be disturbed, they make sure of it. There are rumors she uses the bones of the ancient dead to guard her domain. It's definitely practical, I'll give her that. Although, I wonder if it's because she likes giving trespassers nightmares. I wouldn't blame you if you choose to run away. But, if you want to find Ringrim, head east of here, go past the Pargunan ruins, and when you see the ice, you're there. And Yatsley, be careful. If Quilichi lost you, he'd never forgive me.
Oh, don't worry about me, Temerti. If my spells fizzle, I can always give a good lashing with my tongue.
That's what I'm afraid of. Good luck. Good. It might convince her to keep you safe, too. One last thing. Once you had a moment to settle in with Yatsley, come back and speak with me. I need your help with something.
How exciting. We're off to see an Archmage. To gain access to an ancient godless ruin. You do spoil me. I've just the fragrance for such an occasion. I want to make sure I smell my best when she kills us. Meet me by the tavern when you're ready to head out. Make sure all your gear is up to snuff. We are meeting an Archmage, after all.
Thank goodness we have Yatsley. Our little friend group needed a bit of chaos.
Thank you for returning. I wish I could say I didn't actually need your help, but I do. Some young idiot thirdborners decided they'd form their own militia to protect the region because of course they would. And now, predictably, they're missing. If it's true, I leave it to your discretion as to what to do with the deserter. In my time as a soldier, anyone who deserted was executed for their treason.
Please. Let me spend my final minutes in peace.
Come on! Come all!
No matter how that guy died. Let's take these things back to camp. You can fiddle with them there.
So bad. What'll I tell everyone back home? Oh, praise Andra. Help at last. My squad and I rested in the cave by the water last night, and as we were sleeping, we were ambushed by those miserable Zorips. I was so surprised, and it was so dark. I just got separated from everyone else. Look, I can't face those monsters alone, but I have to know if anyone else made it out. So, can you just go in and see what happened to everyone? Please? Of course he did. Sergeant Asui never has a thought he won't say out loud. So what did he tell you? That Captain Ruiki was sick? That I was paranoid? That I was a dumb baby? I heard it all often and loudly. Wait, if you found Sergeant Asui, why is he not here with you? What happened? Wow. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. I hope for the best, of course, but... Look, I don't know what you think you know, or what he told you, but I know what I saw. The captain had been acting weird for days. She was giving orders to people who weren't there, yelling at us over nothing. Not just the captain either. Manu was jumpier than usual. Kiri seemed compelled to echo our words back to us. Even Sergeant Asui began muttering to himself. It was more than just stress. I'm not some idiot who can't tell the difference. Everyone was sick. And it was only a matter of time before it was brought home to Third Born. If you saw them, you'd agree with me. Someone had to leave and let the others know what happened. Look, you either believe me or you don't. Just give me their badges and I'll let their families know. I am not a coward. Look, I would not just leave them to die for no reason. A swarm of Zorps attacked in the dead of the night. What was I supposed to do, huh? Stick around and die with everyone? I'm not a coward! There was no other option! Take it back. Or else, I'll reclaim my honor. That's it! Draw your weapon! To the death!
Marius, look alive!
Take him down! We got them all.
Oh, hey, Envoy. Be sure to check out our new bereavement sale. Discount on qualifying items.
Give me the news. I just want this sordid story over with. Any real soldier would know the worst crime against his brothers in arms is desertion. He should have stayed with them to the end. I'll make sure these badges are given to the surviving families.
Oh, hey, Envoy. Be sure to check out our new bereavement sale.
I've got the freshest fish guaranteed. Got a hankering for something?
There you are. It's rather rude of you to keep a lady waiting. I'll forgive you, though. It gave me a chance to dip into my notes about the Circle of Archmagi. One does not simply waltz into an Archmage's domain unprepared. Tell me, dearie, how much do you know about Reengrim? Oh, lovely. Then you know what we're up against. Oh, her spells are legendary. The Circle of Archmagi are the most powerful magical beings in Aora. Whatever the reason, the fact that she's here at all is significant. Oh, Aldra's titties. The Circle sent the Archmage of Terror. Oh, she's just brilliant. Well, Nakukubel is the largest of the godless ruins. It's still got its share of secrets. There must be something in there of interest to Reengrim. Probably something powerful. I knew I liked you, darling. I'll be with you every step of the way. Those Steel Garrote bastards stole all my research about the godless. They'll get to the garden first over their dead bodies. I can show you the way to Reengrim's domain, but we should travel lean. The less of us there are, the less likely she'll take notice. You'll need me to get you in the door, so who's staying behind?
You got it. I'll make sure to roll around in the warm sun for a bit while I'm at it.
Perfect. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Despite everything that's happened, I'm so grateful to be working with Yatsley. In many ways, Quilici has been like a second father to me. But Yatsley, she's like my dirty aunt who's up to no good. Oh, she's an expert in that field. While I have your attention, I've been thinking. Why is Inquisitor Ludwig suddenly interested in godless ruins? She's a smart one, I'll give her that. We should be ready for anything. Something tells me Ludwig isn't finished with us yet. Pleasant dreams.
Listening to Yatsley's thoughts about godless ruins is one thing. Bringing her along for the rest of the trip is something else. Right. Soap is useful sometimes, but I don't pour it in my drinks. If she's read anything about the garden, it was written centuries ago. Obviously, things have changed since then. I don't know. Just following a lady who says she knows something about the garden just seems crazy to me. I'll go along with whatever you decide. Just don't be disappointed when she doesn't show you what you wanted to see. Anyway, let's make sure they're not listening. The only one we haven't talked about is Yatsley. I don't trust her any further than I could throw her, which honestly isn't that far. She actually goes down into these ruins on purpose, just to see what's down there, I guess? And now she's trying to lead us to the garden. Might as well be searching for WoW's wacky wagon of mysteries. Nah, I'm sure she knows what she's doing, but what if she doesn't? Pleasant dreams.
Yatsley, when all of this is behind us, are you going back to Fior Mesiverna?
It's hard to imagine leaving forever, especially with Quilici still there. Well, what about you, dearie?
Even if I could go back, it wouldn't be the same. Who knows? Maybe getting banished was the best thing that's happened to me in a while.
Maybe Fior was holding you back, and you can return one day to rub all your success in their faces.
You're too kind to me, Yatsley. I don't deserve you.
For all you put up with from me, I'm sure I could be kinder. But I'm always happy to help.
You have an inquisitive mind. I respect that. If you ever feel your education is missing something, I'd be happy to teach you what I know. All you have to do is ask. Excellent. The Imperial Court taught you well, but I suspect there were gaps in what they call an education. If there's anything you've been dying to learn from an animancer, now is the time. Unfortunately, that can take a lifetime. It's the sad reality of our work. But I'll give you the short version. Now, let's begin. You drifted off for a moment. Were you paying attention? Really? What's the last thing I said? Oh, I stand corrected. Even if you had dozed off, no harm done. Besides, a little nap is good for the soul. I slept through my share of lectures, and look how I turned out. That's all I have to teach you for now. I'll chime in if anything else comes to mind. Anyone in particular? I warn you, I'm not the best judge of first impressions. Of course, she's brilliant, open to anything, and sees the world as she wants it to be. Yatsley gave me my first glass of wine, and the courage to approach a special someone. We have a lot of catching up to do. Indeed, old friends. When they died, Yatsley protected me. Made sure I had one consistent person in my life. I think that's why she gave me that glass of wine. Why she encouraged me to live my life to the fullest. She was making sure I hit all the milestones I could have missed. No one to get jealous over. To call it a relationship would be an insult to the word. But it was fun while it lasted. Animancy is the study of life. Unfortunately, we get so busy that we forget to live. So a little roll in the hay is good for the soul. Yatsley taught me that. Well, not the part about rolling in the hay. That was my idea, and I don't recommend it. Now that she's traveling with us, maybe she can teach you a thing or two. I think that covers everyone. And if my good opinion changes, you'll be the first to hear about it. Pleasant dreams. Marius, I've been wondering about something.
What's that?
How do we keep finding Zarops on every continent? They don't strike me as the seafaring type.
Oh, that's simple. Zarbs probably stow away on merchant ships or ride on the back of dragons, or something like that.
What if Aora was once a single landmass, and the Zorop tribes drifted apart over the years? Could that be possible?
Well, that's a theory. You might need to look into it some more before telling it to anyone else, of course.
I'm pretty sure you're overthinking it. It's like rats. You see them everywhere too, but they don't have their own navy either.
Maybe you're right. But I like my theory.
I suppose if you're on a wild goose chase, there are worse places to do it. At least I know how to deal with those sorts of things. Rope, lantern, extra water skins. Yatsley's got you going in all sorts of abandoned ruins. Who knows what's down there? More questions, most likely. And spiders. Nothing, I'm fine. Forget I said anything. I just want to make sure we've covered all the options before we dive headfirst into another deadly ruin. I'm sure we'll be fine. I just hope this is all worth it. Anyway. Not before I've done some reading.
I once heard rumors about a cataclysm in the Deadfire. Something about the lost city of Ukaizo. Does that ring any bells?
The higher-ups with fancy hats were looking for it, but that was all above my rank.
But there was also talk of a broken machine. A device so large that it towered over the city.
It definitely sounds like the kind of thing the fancy hats would have been interested in. But why are you so curious about something on the other side of the world?
I have my reasons.
For the camp of an official Adiran envoy, I was expecting a little more. A proper bed, at least. But I suppose this will do for now. As long as you have a bath, of course. I always ask nicely. But as riveting as it is to complain about our accommodations, I imagine you have another topic in mind? I'm the only buyer you'll find here, and I already have the jar. A lesson for next time, darling. It's always worth some haggling. Unfortunately, it's been quite some time since I've met another who focused on the godless as I do. And I imagine I'd be more knowledgeable on the subject than anyone else you could find. Technically, yes. Well, it set me on the path, at least. When I got my first grimoire as a child, I was trying out some of the fancy new spells I'd been given. I was attempting a simple illusion spell, but I must have slurred my words. The next thing I know, everything was on fire. That was my assumption as well. Barrett's balls. It's nice to know I won't have to dumb things down with you. What is childhood but for silly things? When else can you get away with arson? My father was able to pull me from the flames as my mother doused them. I burned myself badly enough to give myself some vivid dreams, but the house still stood at the end. Of course. Now I only burn those that deserve it, like mosquitoes and university administrators. The only lasting damage was my burn mark and the dreams. Usually I enjoy a bit of pain, but this was a bit too much. I wouldn't recommend it. As delightful as you are, we've much to do and less time to do it in. Shall we go? Oh, Envoy, might I steal a moment of your time? Well, it's the waiting that makes the payoff so delicious, don't you agree? Look, I lost more research than I'd like to count, but Fiora and its people are safe. That's what matters. Thank you, Envoy. I don't know how you managed it, but whatever you did, you averted disaster. That being said, your ambassador is going to get an earful, and possibly a fistful, next time we're in Paradise. That's what happens when you're the breadbasket of the living lands. Sometimes things get stale. At least we were able to get everyone to safety. Though with everything happening in Thirdborn, safe might be relative. At least I know Temerity will keep an eye on them. I think she knows what'll happen if she doesn't. I know, and she knows. Let's leave it at that. Long enough that I trust her to do her best by everyone. You see, Emerald Stair has Naku Tedek. For a young and aspiring godless scholar, it was a godsend, if you'll forgive the pun. And, as a young-at-heart godless scholar, I've traveled outside the stair to other ruins. That's how I met Temerity. Thirdborn's close to Naku Kubel, and a girl's gotta eat sometime. Who says I did? I still go out often. I've catalogued many ruins, but there are always more. And coming home to a warm welcome is lovely. You should try it sometime, darling. Oh, part of it is my sparkling personality, of course, but a larger part of it is time. It's hard to hate someone when they drop by your lab with lunch after you've forgotten to eat again. It's so much easier to do when you're younger. Now I enjoy eating and watching Quilici cook far too much. My mother always said that the way to a man's heart was through his stomach. Quilici and I got together the old-fashioned way, though. I saw a beautiful man across a smoky tavern. Then I dazzled him with my delightful personality. Then he showed me an abandoned ruin outside of town, and I was hooked. Oh, it's not a fairy tale, darling. We've been happy for the most part. Any rough patches got smoothed over well enough. I only thought about killing him once or twice. He's probably thought the same a bit more. It's hard to believe that things have changed so much recently. Any sense of safety just went poof. It makes you wonder how everything will turn out. Me? Well, I suppose that's an option. I'd need help, of course, but I'd at least ask for it. Huh. I'll think on it. Maybe it'd be a nice retirement plan for Quilici and me.
Governor Yatsley. I like the sound of that.
Thank you, Envoy. I feel a little less frazzled. I've got a lot to think on. Talk to you soon? Try not to have too much fun without me. How can I help, darling? We've been traveling together for a little while. I just have to know. Did you purposefully choose such colorful company, or is that just what you attract naturally? I mean, I'm very clearly a delight, so it's obvious why you let me stick around. But Kai's hiding a lot behind that humor of his, isn't he? Thinking that that could be Quilici and me is not something I want to think about. And Marius, I don't know what's lurking in him, but I do think he should speak to someone on it. If he reaches out, do try, will you? As for Giada, well, clearly Giada is a gem. As for me, well, I'm just as riveting as you, but the boys are giving me a run for my money. It It is a lovely little perk, isn't it? But so is the ability to actually talk to any you meet. Don't discount it. You do strike me as a people person. Tell me, do you get along with all you meet? So, you'll be swarmed by well-wishers then, upon arriving home? And some very angry spouses, I imagine. And here I thought I had a wild youth exploring ruins. You might be putting me to shame, dearie. Why do you think Quilici and I went to Naku Tedek in the first place? Of course, other lovers were less willing. Something about them being gross and terrifying. I just think it adds to the excitement. Well, you've satisfied my curiosity. You know, Envoy, we've traveled enough that I think I've gotten a handle on your style. Style of fighting, I mean. Your fashion sense is more opaque. But listening to your incantations, they could use some tightening up. I could probably teach you a thing or two, if you're up for it. What do you say? Of course, darling. Easy as pie. What? Out of breath already? Talk to one of the boys. See if they can help with your stamina, dear. Well, I've taught you all I can. Let's hope you put it to good use.
Hey, I wanted to say that I'm sorry to hear about the whole Tama thing.
Thanks, Marius. That means a lot.
I've left people behind before, but it's different when you lose someone unexpectedly. So, sorry.
Every loss hurts. There's no comparing them.
Anyway, I'm here if you need to talk, or if you don't, or whatever.
Thank you. Really, I appreciate it.
I wish we could have done more for them. Capo and Chico, I mean. Not that Capo needs anything more from us. But if I were in his shoes, I hope I'd make the same choice. Though I'd like to pick a more fun way to die. Of course. Even when it's expected, or even preferable, it's always a tragedy. I can only hope that at the end I have some control over things. That I can go out as Yatsli. And don't you forget it. But it gives you something to think about. I mean, not everyone gets to come back like you did, Envoy. Well, that's all I had to say. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. Unless there's something else you want to chat about? How can I help, darling? These sudden changes in climb always mess with my coiffure. Does Adir have good fur maintenance products? Do you have a contact for that? Now, imagine that every inch of you is frizzing up. Truly, just a good long brushing through all my fur alone would do wonders. I've got some time before we see Quilici again, at least. It'll give me time to find something to remind him of what he's missing. In life, you make your own entertainment. I enjoy scandalizing the small-minded when I can. Quilici and I got used to the stairs early on. Thankfully, at least in Fjord, those stopped eventually. After 30 years, it's hard to still be surprised by us just drinking at the Magpie. Oh, she was still young. Quilici offered to help her study for and prepare her thesis as a favor to her parents. She was over day and night for months, and, well, now she's family. We adore her. All things considered, it's hard to complain about my life in Fjord. You're too sweet. As much as I enjoy our little chats, dearie, we should really get going. Oh, but if you do end up finding any liniments, be sure to help a girl out. Well, I suppose you've earned that much. And I do enjoy rewarding tenacity. Though between your dreams and mine, it's a wonder anyone gets any sleep around here. You remember that I nearly burned my family home down when I was young? It was an accident, and I paid for it. My parents refused to buy me more spellbooks for years. Well, shortly after all that fuss, the dream began. It started at first with a fire, just flames crackling, and a feeling of safety. I thought it was a little weird, but nice. But then the dream kept coming back, night after night. I learned more every time. I saw that it was a fire in a hearth, and that hearth was in an old library. I assumed it was a library, at least, to explain why there were so many tablets lining the walls. Ah, a woman after my own heart. In the library, there's just one person, but they're wearing a hood, so I never see their face. They do the same thing every night. They curl up in a chair by the fire, hold a tablet to their chest, and then the fear comes. The paralyzing, all-encompassing fear of something. Just the noise. A low, deep banging starts, and it rattles through your bones and shakes you to your core. And it replaces the beat of your heart with this droning on and on and on until you forget every other sound you've ever heard.
A beat. Steel feet on the shore. They come by night.
And then, as it just gets louder and louder, and right before it gets there, I wake up.
You've been listening to too many of Giada's ghost stories.
And let me tell you, waking up in a cold sweat does nothing for my fur. How sibilant. No. Just that it's all-encompassing. It's strange. I've not told many of the details of my dream. I suppose I must like you quite a bit, Envoy. Don't let it inflate your ego too much. I suppose we should try and get some rest now. I'll have some tea ready for when we awaken later.
You know, people don't think steam thistle has any medicinal properties.
Oh?
But if you grind it up and add some clean water, it's decent at protecting your skin from the sun.
That will be a great help on our travels. I detest the sun.
It also doesn't taste half bad on bread. If you don't mind picking out all the little pricklers.
I think I'll stick to butter. But at least we have options.
Wait, did you ask about that, or was it Kai? Never mind. Carry on.
Thirdborn. If it weren't for the Leviathan skeleton in the middle of town, I'd hardly recognize the place. Well, that's what I'm trying to nail down. You ever come back to a place and feel like the buildings are smaller and the colors are duller? And home just wasn't the same. Thirdborn was always this rugged oasis, dangerous and out of the way, but bursting with vitality. It was a harbor for larger-than-life types. People like Capo, the Leviathan Slayer, and Tama. Glory seekers, trophy hunters, warriors trying to leave their battles behind. People who built around their stories and their scars. Me too. Being back. It felt like we were watching Thirdborn die a slow death. True. But I can't help but feel that the Thirdborn I knew 6 years ago would have faced it better. I think what's eating at me is that Thirdborn seems rudderless. The Dream Scourge is one threat. Conflict with Adir is another. The Living Lands is changing, and Thirdborn feels like a barnacle on a moving ship. Temeriti's leading them as best she can, but towards what? What are we doing out here besides surviving?
Or it'll go the way of the godless and their ruins. Not sure which idea makes me more uneasy. What about you? You were sent by your emperor to investigate the Dream Scourge. Since then, you've died, met a secret god, and gotten swept up in tensions between your empire and our scattered settlements. You brought Egwolf to adherent justice, but then you thwarted the Steel Garrote's attack on Fjord. Do you know what you're sailing towards, or are you drifting with the tides? That kind of clarity is rare. Your Emperor's lucky to have you. Thanks for talking. I hope Thirdborn is able to find its way somehow. I'd never met Naoki. Asui arrived a few months before I left Thirdborn. I knew their squad mates better. Uriki was a ship's carpenter with the Rawatine Navy years ago. Came from a military family, but she never saw much combat herself. Manu was a deckhand on a pirate ship. Stopped in Thirdborn with his crew to resupply and never left. I don't think piracy suited him. Kiri, he was a sweet kid. Born shipboard to a mercenary captain who left him here and never came back. For the longest, I thought that was for the best. Me too. Most of all, I'm sorry I wasn't here to better prepare them.
This wasn't your fault. They just weren't ready.
Because there weren't enough seasoned soldiers to train them. The Thirdborn's in dire straits if they're sending people like this out to patrol. Night, Envoy.
Could you possibly chew any louder?
Only if you say please.
Nimdude. We'll have every dream thrall in the scarp after us.
At least he's not as loud as the Envoy, gulping down potion after potion.
It takes a real talent to gulp them all at once.
Well, just keep it down. I can't hear myself think.
Did that artifact get warmer, or am I imagining it? You feel that? It must be magical. Hope it doesn't give me weird dreams.
Seeds of change, their petals sprout across the barren land. They sing to the unwanted ones, and the unwanted ones sprout in turn. The soil remembers what it once was. It will soon be whole, safe. The soil does not want these cities. It yearns for silence, for the kestrel song. But first, the sprouted ones will grow. They will bring the stillness and the birdsong. The dam falls. The river returns to its source. It is how the land was and should always be. We want all of them gone. We wish for life to flourish again. Efforts paid in blood. They lie to the earth, to themselves. Death nourishes the soil. All things come from the rot. The dead bear nourishes the pack. We ponder, dream of shifting sands now. We will speak again.